At the question of how is it related to our lives now, girls? Look at yourself. I know that of course there is difference in age and this, but do you feel yourself somehow trapped like Mitch or happy like Morrie?
Trapped like much.
Why?
Because Miss, uh, it came like for about a couple of months that we lived the same day every day. It was repeated, so it felt like half this the whole year only went on the same day being repeated.
Yes, yes,
It
you're
was a
right,
waste
Yelan.
one whole year.
Yes, you're right. Yes, Yelena, you say wisdom these days, Yelena. Yesterday also you
I
said to
said what?
me you say wisdoms these days.
Thank you.
Yes, today and yesterday also when you told me that at least you learned, you had a lesson. So yes, you don't live your life happily, right? That's why I was discussing with you about the project. I mean, for the project that you take marks, that you try to like the one that Rima did, that you figure out what is a unique thing you do through your day in order to not make it just a normal, ordinary day, to make it a unique day. I wanted to see more actually. يعني Rima's was great, brilliant, and I wanted to see more ideas of you of how you spend your day, how do you make it unique, or you just surrender to the circumstances, you just surrender to the surrounding, uh, uh, the surroundings, and you just don't do anything new in your day. If you do anything you knew, project times is still open, please. You can create a video like Jenna's, like Rima's.
Miss, it's not
Okay?
like you need to do a new thing. It's about your mindset when you wake up. Like you need to be grateful. Be positive. It is.
Yes. How, Yakadra, you be grateful when you wake up?
You wake up like first thing that like you need to have this perspective. Like you're healthy. You can walk. You can do this and that, and you have this positive mindset. Like alhamdulillah, I have this and that.
Yes, yes, this is great, Yakadra.
Miss, as peculiar as it sounds, I'm actually enjoying this time. Like
You, you uh-huh.
I'm enjoying this time. I'm finding so much about myself the
I'm
longer.
waiting for the presentation. You told me you send me or the video. I'm waiting, Yalayan.
I wanted to do it, but I stopped. I sent the presentation
No, you
yesterday.
have to.
It's about the Odyssey and the Trojan War. I switched
You will
my.
not. You will not do this. I was so excited about it.
I wanted to do it, but there are too many things that happened in my quarantine that they were like both mental and like physical.
You
So
told
I
me
took
that it changed your perspective in life
it
towards
it
some
did
stuff.
a lot. Like it was quarantine was like my mental journey. I thought that I was having like the best phase of my life until I had to go to quarantine, and that like quarantine was like an awakening to me.
What happened? Can you share it now
Um,
or?
if we have time, I can speak about it if you like want me to.
Yes, please. We have time.
I realized that like the first person you have to befriend is yourself.
Hmm.
Because one day everyone's gonna leave, like even the ones you love and the ones who love you back, they're gonna leave, and you're gonna be left with no one but yourself. So you have to have this sense of friendliness with yourself. You have to understand, like, when you dig deeper into your soul, you find that you have like it sounds insane, but you have like
No,
different
you're right.
personalities that each one of them has needs a different way of pleasing. You need to find the equilibrium that puts all these personalities together in order to like especially if you're struggling with like a mind that's too far away from reality. Like I used to always be on cloud nine. I'm always like imagining stuff, and I'm always writing down what I imagine. So the the more I had to be in quarantine, it sounded like a fantasy at first. Like imagine just waking up one day and there's no school. It sounded like an apocalypse. But then it became like more realistic to me, and I had so much time to spend with family. I realized how important my family was to me. And there are like a lot of assumptions I had on certain family members that with spending time, because like we're all busy with our schedules, we have no time to sit with each other when it was a quarantine. But with quarantine, it was like getting to know your
Trap.
family.
Yeah.
Yes, especially because like my family is made up of like more than 5 members, so it was like really
Seeing them for the first time,
huh?
like seeing
Yes,
them for the first time, meeting them for the first time.
I had so many assumptions about my dad that like broke apart when I was in quarantine, and I've witnessed my family's weakest moments, like each member's weakest moments during quarantine. So I can just now like look at them and base what they're how they're acting on their pain. So I just know what's wrong. Like it's like it was like something that stimulated my telepathy with my family.
It is great. It is so touching that you understand why people act this way according to their
Like
pain. This is a
even like
key for treating with human, yeah, and you figured out something very important, that in order to accept others, you have to accept their pain. You understand why they are acting like this. Oh, they have pain.
and
They have
especially
suffered before.
they especially like you have to put these boundaries that you're setting for people you love with yourself, because as long as you have a clouded mind and you don't know what's really bothering you, you're going to stay feeling like this. You're going to stay overthinking your feelings. The first thing you have to do when you get angry or you get sad or you get heartbroken is ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? So like you can get to the bottom of the situation as soon as you can. And I realized how
This is
disconnected.
also a very important key to life, dear, that all of your feelings, you feel you get feelings up to your thoughts. So you
Exactly.
have to ask yourself, yes, excellent, yeah, Layan, I'm impressed. You ask
And
yourself why I'm feeling that.
I realized, Miss, how disconnecting from your phone, like
Yeah,
sounds
great.
it sounds very, very millennial of me, but like I discovered, like, the longer like the beginning of quarantine, I was addicted to my phone. And the longer I had to sit on it, like there was no end. So I got off my phone for like the beginning of Ramadan, and it was like really, really life changing because I felt like I was in a happier mental state. So now, like with quarantine, I can like enjoy time with myself. I can know when I'm like now because I had
Layan,
this.
please, you have to make me this project. Please, yeah, Layan, I ask you, please.
It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna try my hardest. Like I wanted to
Do you
submit.
want to wait after the tests, exams, and this? Can you make it in the
No, like
vacation?
it's
Or you'll be
because
so
I
busy?
was no, I was okay with making it, but then I realized that like I had no time. Like
I
that
know. So that's
I
why I'm telling you, do you want to wait after tests?
I mean, of course, yeah. And like
Okay.
Miss, like when I had this time to spend with myself, I realized that you can always like when you know yourself, you can cut off the things that provoke you to
Yeah,
toxic.
great. Great. يعني you can be a life coach now, يا ليان.
Oh, thank you.
You can be a life. You said three major rules for life coaches, dear, that people pay for them to hear these words that you just said, يا ليان.
Ironically, I'm slipping away right now. Like I'm really slipping away. I feel like I'm oversharing, but
No, this is
but like
great.
I feel
You
like
have
you're
to share it
saying
with the others, girls. I have to share it. You have to share it everywhere, everywhere. That's why I'm waiting for a great video like Rima's and like Jana's
oh,
presentation. But
thank you.
okay, so I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
You have all the requirements, Layan, to create a great one. Okay,
Thank you, Miss. I
okay.
really appreciate it.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
Okay, we go to page 100. We finish 157. I may be dying, but I'm surrounded. Sarah was reading it. I'm be dying, but I'm surrounded by loving, caring souls. How many people can say that? Please underline it and tell me, is it negative feelings or positive feelings?
Positive.
Positive, and in the same time it's negative. I'm
Yeah.
dying, right? I'm dying is negative, okay? But in the same time, I'm surrounded by sincere souls, people who really love me. So underline it and write negative and positive, girls. Fatima,
Yes, miss.
or no, Fatima, be with me. I'll ask you. But those who will reading will continue reading. But Najwa will be replaced by Lujain. Lujain, you will connect. Najwa, your Sarah, your Mori, and Noor is album. Okay? Yalla. I was astonished. Album. Noor.
I was astonished by his
Or I'm
complete lack.
sorry, here it's not a conversation, so here it will be Lujain.
I was astonished by his complete lack of self-pity. Morrie who could no longer dance, swim, bath, or walk. Morrie who could no longer answer his own door, dry himself after a shower, or even roll over in the bed.
Or
How
please
could he be
highlight
so
it, please underline it, complete lack of self-pity. Mori who could no longer answer his phone door, dry himself after a shower, or even roll over in a bed. If you were Mori, what would you have been feeling? If you were in the place of Mori, girls, if we, because eventually we will all be, if we are in a place of Mori, if we cannot bath ourselves after shower, if we cannot feed ourselves, we cannot answer the phone, how would we be feeling? Most people, if they break their hands, if they break their legs, they will weep about it for hours. So he had no self pity. Oh, why this happens to me? Why only me? Why? Did he say that? Did Mori say that? Did he have
Miss,
self
I
pity
think
for
with
himself?
old age, you
Huh?
come into terms with the fact that you're gonna die at some point. Like I read somewhere that the only time you really panic about morality is when you're in your mid years. That's when you start thinking about your sickness and your old age. But then old people really are usually very happy because they're just in peace with themselves and they really have nothing to worry about. So I don't think that he would be depressed or sad or anything like that. I think it's very normal for an old man to feel like that.
Great. So, but on the other side, when a man cannot feed himself, when a man cannot dry himself after bath, when a man cannot, it is a negative feeling or positive?
It's a negative feeling. I think he's
He,
has a yeah, I think it's a negative feeling.
so this is negative, but he has no self-pity. Is negative or positive?
Positive.
Yes. Liliane, are you here? Liliane? Be with me, Liliane, because I want to ask you a question. Okay. How could he be so accepting? Lujain, continue.
I watched him struggle with his fork, picking at a piece of tomato, missing it the first 2 times, a pathetic scene. And yet I could not deny that sitting in his presence was almost magically serene, the same calm breeze that soothed me back in college. I shot a glance at my watch, force of habit. It was getting late, and I thought about changing my plane reservation home. Then Maury did something that haunts me to this day.
You know how I'm going to die?
He said. I raised my eyebrows.
I'm going to suffocate. Yes, my lungs, because of my asthma, can't handle the disease. It's moving up my body. This ALS. It's already got my legs. Pretty soon it will get my arms and hands, and when it hits my lungs,
He
He
shrugged his
shrugged his
shoulders
shoulders.
like this.
godson.
So, do you know how I'm going to die? I have an asthma, and then he starts to say that it would it reaches my lungs, I'll stop breathing.
I had no idea what to say, so I said,
Noor,
Yes, I mean, you never know.
Maury closed
Like,
his eyes.
I know, Mitch. You must not be afraid of my dying. I've had a good life, and we all know it's going to happen. I maybe have 4 or 5 months.
Come on, I said nervously. Nobody can say.
I can.
He said softly. There's
There,
even a little test. Sorry.
there is even a little test a doctor showed me.
Noor,
A test.
Noor,
Sorry.
A test.
Sarah,
A test.
Inhale a few times.
Lujane.
I did as
I did as he said.
Now, once more, but this time when you exhale, count as many numbers as you can before you take another breath.
You know what, girls? This was also a test for corona. If you can hold your breath without coughing, you don't have corona. You heard about this?
No,
You heard
actually.
about that you take a very long, deep breath, and when you can hold it for a long time without coughing, it means yeah that your lungs are great. So there is you don't have corona. Okay, continue.
I quickly exhaled the numbers.
Noor,
1, 2,
Noor.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I read.
I reached 70 before my breath was gone.
Good.
Morrie said.
You have healthy lungs now. Watch what I do.
He inhaled and began his number count in a soft, wobbly voice.
1, 2.
1, 2.
Mori, Sarah.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
He stopped, gasping for air.
So let's do it, girls. Let's all take a deep breath and then we
Miss
hold
Nada.
our breath. Yes, dear.
بس ليليان قال إنه المايك تبعها معلق ما عم يشتغل.
Okay. So all of us will take a deep breath and then we hold it and then we count for how many minutes or not seconds we can. Okay, yalla.
Yes.
I stopped. What about you? You're still counting?
No.
I reached 50, but quickly, 1, 2, 3, well, like this. I reached 50. No one else did it?
No, I reached the 65.
65, great. Who
I
else?
got to 26.
74.
74, wow.
70.
70, great.
30.
After you finish, you go to your parents and you do it with them. If your father smokes, he will not be able to continue. So you say to him, I can breathe better. It was a test for coronavirus too, girls. Okay.
95 seconds.
90, who's is 95?
Fatima.
Wow, you have, mashallah, good health. Mashallah.
Thank you.
Okay, we continue. He stopped gasping for air. Thank you, Lujane. You'll be replaced, dear Lujane, by Fatima. Fatima, you are connecting between them. So, Sarah, when the
Yes.
doctor?
When the doctor first asked me to do this, I could reach 23. Now it's 18.
He closed his eyes, shook his head.
My tank is almost empty.
I tapped my thighs nervously. That was enough for one afternoon.
Come back and see your old professor.
Morrie said when I hugged him goodbye. I promised I would, and I tried not to think about the last time I promised this.
We finished. I tried not to think about the last time I promised this. So sad. Did you like it, girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll go to our
Miss?
yes.
What does he mean when he said I tried not to think about the last time I promised this?
You think. You tell me, Milayan.
Like, did
What
he
is the
die?
Who dies? Of course, Morrie will die.
No, I mean, no,
Yes.
no, I
Yes, he
thought,
dies. Yes, the last time I promised this.
yeah,
Because he didn't promise later.
mm,
As we said, grappling is trying to overcome or deal with. Gingerly, when he said he holds the crumbs gingerly. Pathetic, serene, calm, peaceful, tranquil. I will change the. I'll change the color for. I didn't notice this. Here, I didn't notice this. This one cannot be shown. Okay. Do you have any difficulty in understanding meanings, girls? Girls? Grappling, gingerly, pathetic, serene. Okay, now here are some questions to discuss and then we finish here. Okay. How does the phone ringing in the first paragraph impact the story? Huh. Who can answer? Oops. Who can answer this? Here at the beginning of the story of the excerpt, go back and when Connie answered the phone, how this affect or impact the story? Journalists, visitors. Seriously, no one knows the answer?
Yes. Should we
are we
say?
supposed to say?
Yes?
Choose.
Yes, choose.
Anyone, please? Grade 10. Anyone answer?
Can I say?
Yes, yes, Sarah, answer.
I think Miss the phone ringing, it it says that Morrie was loved and a lot of people was like calling him to see him and
Yes.
to him.
Yes, this is it. Yes. Read it, yes, Sarah.
It introduces the fact that Morrie gets a lot of phone calls. Prompts
Prompts, yes, tells.
prompts Mitch to reveal to the reader Morrie's many connections, friends, meditation teachers, and discussion group. It causes Mitch to reflect on how isolated he feels. He feels a bit envious and wonders the buddies that circled my orbit back in college. Where had they
Where
gone?
have they gone? You understand, girls? We discussed it at the beginning of the excerpt. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 2. When the phone rings a second time, Morrie doesn't take the call, saying, I am visiting with my old pal now. How does Mitch react to this event? Huh. It is in line 26, girls. Line 26. What would you be feeling if you go and you visit your teacher, if you come and visit me after 16 years? And then I said, will you come? Will you remember me, girls? Will you still remember me after you finish school?
Yes.
And you ask about me
Yes.
and you see my health and what would you be feeling when a teacher that you love says that about you after 16 years of not seeing each other? When he said, I cannot tell you why he received me so warmly, it says what?
That he loves him.
Yes, album wondered, right, Layan? He wondered why he receives me so warmly. Yani, how come he is so popular? He's surrounded by people who really love him, and people who really love him and really want to talk with him. And he doesn't answer the phone to be with me. Why he receives me so warmly? So he He wonders why, Leon, right?
Yes.
So read the answer, please.
Mitch feels as if he doesn't deserve Morrie's attention. I cannot tell you why he received me so warmly. Line 28. It makes Mitch reflect on how long it has been since he has seen Morrie and feel guilty about it. I had no good excuse for this except the one that everyone these days seems to have. Line 31.
Why you didn't come here before? But I have no excuses. Everyone has those excuses. Everyone is busy in his life. Lina Yad, are you here, Lean? لين. طب لين عمار.
Yes, Miss.
Lean, read the question, Lean.
What do the details in lines 36 and following reveal about Mitch? Give examples.
Yes, after line 36, there are details about Mitch. Okay, what does this line tell you about Mitch? When he said that his voice took me back to the college years.
People were evil.
He thought at the time of college, he thought that rich people were evil, yes, and he...
A shirt and tie were prison clothes.
Yes.
Life without freedom to get up and go.
Yes. So what was the most important thing for Mitch during his college years? Freedom. Freedom, that she is not chasing money. Right?
Yes.
So, Celine?
In these lines, Mitch thinks back to his college days, remembering his attitude with details like a shirt and tie were prison clothes, and life without the freedom to get up and go down the streets of Paris into the mountains of Tibet.
Yeah.
Was not a good life at all. Then he realizes that exactly the opposite has occurred, which unsettles him. I traded lots of dreams for a bigger paycheck.
Yes, I traded lots of dreams for a paycheck to go and take a check at the end of the month. Okay? We still have time, so we'll go to page 160, guys. Or you'd prefer to stop here? Let's stop here, girls. What do you think of Morrie and Mitch, guys? What do you think of this relationship?
I like that no matter how many years passed, there is also like a great relationship between them. Like there is also caring between them. Like he cares about him and Mitch cares about his professor. Even though the years passed and like it was 15 years like passing, so there's still like caring and love between them.
Yes. Listen, girls, I will show you a video. Yes? Huh?
It was really like emotional and like loving, and then it has really mixed feeling, this story.
Yes. I will show you an interview with the album. What, Fatima? I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said like, it really had a mixed emotions. Like it was emotional, and at some time like they had love, and they tried to show everything.
Here is Oprah Winfrey.
Why do you think the book continues to resonate?
Well, it's a story about a young man who's kind of lost and an old man who's dying who takes him in and teaches him a last class on what's important in life. I think, number one, everybody has had a teacher in their life at some point who's made a difference.
Yeah.
Number two, everybody's felt a little lost in their life.
Yeah.
And number three, everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
And I think those three elements, now that I've had 20 years to sort of reflect on it, are probably what makes it universal in why people can read it in Thailand or Japan or Australia the same way that they read it here. It wasn't me, it was what Morrie said and what Morrie did that became an embraced lesson.
And I think it's also because you were a student. You were a student. We've all had that moment where you really are connected to someone and you say, I'm going to stay in touch. And then life happens and you don't.
Yeah.
And had it not been for you seeing him on Nightline with Ted Koppel, you could have been any place else. That's why I believe in, signs, divine order, providence. Yes, you're flipping through the channel and you see him, that's your old teacher.
Yep.
You make a decision to go back and visit him.
Well, you're giving me too much credit. I made a decision to make a phone call. He made the decision to have me come back and see him because when I was in college, I used to call him coach, sports affectation. I coach, whatever. I think I had forgotten about that. And when I dialed his number, just to have one phone call to ease my conscience, the first thing he said to me was, how come you didn't call me coach?
It's not much, I know, but we'll make do. So, I recently finished this one. This book is the author's recounting of the time he spent with his former university professor, Morrie, before his death of ALS. Some of you might be averting your faces now, saying this is a book about death, so you don't want to read it. But before you do that, I was thinking about a dream I had last week, where I was crossing a bridge into something unknown, being ready to move on to whatever is next. But you didn't. Morrie waited a moment. He shook his head slightly. No, I didn't. But I felt that I could. Do you understand? That's what we're all looking for. A certain peace with the idea of dying. If we know, in the end, that we can ultimately have that peace with dying, then we can finally do the really hard thing, which is make peace with living. Morrie was an extremely intelligent, sensitive, and kind person. Throughout the book, the reader learns how consciously and maturely he was accepting his condition, with no shame and even a bit of humor. And in the face of death, knowing that every day could be his last, Morrie was able to verbalize so clearly what really matters in life. This book tells the story of a dying man, but more than anything, it's a book about life.
When you're dead a long time. I'm not hurrying. But I'm going to live as fully as I can while I'm here. As vitally as I can. And as lovingly as I can.
Leaving its literary qualities aside, this book contains a handful of universal truths. I chose to touch upon two in this video.
My hands are going, which is the next phase after the legs.
What does that mean when you say your hands are going?
I won't be able to use them in a short while. Things are very heavy to pick up.
You used a cruder example when we were in your bedroom before.
Should I say it on TV?
Go ahead and say it on TV.
Okay, I'll say it on TV then. Somebody's going to have to wipe my ass.
Do you remember when I told Ted Koppel that pretty soon someone was going to have to wipe my ass? Well, I think the day is coming. That one bothers me. Why? Because it's the ultimate sign of dependency. Someone wiping your bottom. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to enjoy the process. Enjoy it? Yes. After all, I get to be a baby one more time. The first thing that really stands out in Morrie is his ability to see, and when needed to create, a positive perspective of a situation. And in a difficult final condition such as his, you can't help but think that this attitude can truly be utilized even in easier situations. So many freaking mosquitoes. The dying man, who's owning the fact of his butt being wiped, reinforced in me the notion of how every adversity in life should be viewed.
All of our lives, we get up in the morning and we expect to live, to go on. I have to change and accept the expectation. I'm not going to live. Very soon, I will not be living.
Try to imagine hard for a second the absolute horrifying terror of knowing that tomorrow is the last day you live. What do you do with your last hours?
I don't read the newspapers much. I don't look at TV much. I listen to music. But there are a lot of things about the world I'm letting go. I'm not letting go of the people who love me. That will be the hardest thing for them and for me.
Would you spend your last hours listening to news broadcasts? Or would you spend them being with the people you love and love you back one last time? Would you spend your last hours trying to change someone else's political views? Or would you just listen to your favorite song one last time? And if these are our answers, then the question is, why do we waste so much of our life's efforts on things that ultimately have a lesser value to us?
I'm dying, right? Why do you think it's so important for me to hear other people's problems? Don't I have enough pain and suffering of my own? Of course I do. But giving to other people is what makes me feel alive. Not my car or my house. Not what I look like in the mirror. When I give my time, when I can make someone smile after they were feeling sad, it's as close to healthy as I ever feel.
And we all learn it too late. To be compassionate, to be loving, and take responsibility for yourself and for others.
It's not money, not looks, not world affairs, but love of the surroundings and of ourselves. It's giving and appreciating human creation. I'm not trying to diminish the importance of any of the formers. Each has a varying degree of importance in our lives. But maybe it's how we prioritize them that demands change. Losing my mind over someone else's political views is a clear waste of my time. Loving that person, despite the difference in our views, is living. And same goes for so many other time-wasting examples we all know and live. This book was a reminder for me to not realize that when it's too late.
So Tuesdays with Morrie contains so much more. If you want to learn more, then I recommend starting with the book and following it up with the interviews, parts of which I put in this video. You can find the link in the description below and also at the annotation at the top of the screen.
Thank you, girls. We finished for today. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Miss. Bye.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you,
Have a
Miss.
nice day.
Bye.